How is everybody doing? This is the final part of 3 videos on Miles Davis on Columbia. Miles parted with Columbia in early 1986, I think, and then he signed with Warner Brothers. So this is a look at the catalogue between 1980, when he started recording again, until 1984-85, when he did his final recordings for Columbia. The Man with the Horn was released in 1981. I think most of it was recorded the previous year, in 1980. Miles had come out of self-imposed solitary confinement, I guess. He was living in his house in New York. His health wasn't very good, but he started recording again. I think he was visited by one of his old jazz friends, and they said to him, yeah, you know, you were put on the earth to play. And he kind of woke up and got back. This is, it's entertaining enough. You know, there's some new younger players here. It was produced by Tio Macero, and Al Foster is on drums. He played with Miles in the early 70s before Miles packed it in 75. Bill Evans is on soprano sax. Marcus Miller plays the bass. Barry Finnerty guitar. Mike Stern also plays the guitar in a few tracks. Sammy Figueroa is on percussion. It's mainly instrumental stuff. There is one track though. It's kind of cheesy. Randy Hall sings the vocals and also plays guitar on it. It's not a bad album. It's not bad. It doesn't break any new ground. It's just, you know, but it doesn't really continue from where you left off. You know, it's much more sanitized. It's a little smoother. Like it's not hard to listen to or anything like that. Shout, that sounds a little bit like Herb Alpert. But yeah, the groove is good on it, you know what I mean? And I like Al Foster's drumming, and Marcus Miller is a great bass player. Yeah, so it's okay, you know. It wouldn't be the best album. I mean, he was in a bad place, and his health wasn't great, but it's still not bad. But he was, you know, in good enough form to start touring again. And We Want Miles is a double album, a double LP anyway. And this was recorded in Avery Fishery Hall in New York in July 1981, and in Tokyo in October 1981, and Boston in June 81. Yeah, this isn't bad. Jean-Pierre is on that. Backseat Betty, Fast Track. My Man's Gone Now. It's an old Gershwin track, and kicks. The rhythm section is slick, and you know, the drums are good, and he plays pretty well, you know. I mean, he looks pretty ill at the time, you know, but he's blowing pretty well, and it was good that he got back, and you know, he had more to give, I guess, and he did. Next up is Star People. This was released in 1983. Most of it was recorded the year before, in 1982. again, it's not bad. You know, it's a decent enough album. I nearly prefer it than Man with the Horn. This is I only got this recently. It's music on CD reissue, but you can still get original copies. Yeah, I like this album. There's a couple of tracks that don't sound great. You know, there's a live track on here, and the quality of the recording is pretty poor. The studio stuff is fine though. Here now we have John Scofield on electric guitar. Mike Stern is also there. Scofield is great. He really puts a lot of fire into the music. Al Foster's still on drums. Mino Sanilo percussion. Bill Evans is on the sax. Marcus Miller on bass, and Tom Barney also plays electric bass. Yeah, it's good, but you know, again, it's a lot of people, you know, his 80s output isn't for everybody, but I still think the trumpet sounds great, and it's still exciting music. Next up is Decoy. This was released in 1984. This is a studio recording. It's much more, much slicker than the live stuff. Again, this is I just bought this because I never had these. You know, I was always holding out for a remastered edition, a box set of Miles and Columbia from 1980 until 1985, and I wish they would do it and remaster the whole lot. And there's a lot of tracks as well recorded that have never been released. I'm not sure if they're that any good, but it would be nice to get them. This stuff is quite slick. You know, some of it rambles on a bit. There's a lot of synthesizers here as well, you know, and padding the backdrop with funny chords. The bass lines are great though, you know, they really are. You know, Al Foster is great. We got Robert Irving the third on synthesizers, electric drums. There's electric drums and everything. Darryl Jones plays bass. Bradford Marsalis. They joined Sting's band around this time as well. John Scofield's here. Stellar musicians, and but yeah, it's interesting stuff, you know. There is a live track on this actually. Yeah, it's over here. That's what happened, and that seems to be live. There's different asterisks for where it came from. But yeah, it's not a bad album. Yeah, it's great that they're keeping them in circulation as well. I'm not sure. I don't think these have been remastered. It's just a reproduction of the original CD. Next up is You're Under Arrest. There's Miles looking very, very menacing with a plastic Tommy gun. Yeah. Again, this is pretty similar to the last one, mainly studio. A couple of covers on this, Human Nature, Michael Jackson's track that was on Thriller, and Time After Time, the Cyndi Lauper hit. It's, you know, I hate to say, but it kind of sometimes can fall into easy listening territory, but you know, the horn is quite good, and there's still, you know, there's a bit of feeling in it. You know, these albums are pretty slick, you know, when you crank them. They sound great with headphones as well, you know. One phone call, Sting is on this actually, but he's meant to be a French policeman. Yeah. So yeah, it's Darryl Jones on bass. John McLaughlin is playing guitar on this album as well. Vincent Wilburn Jr. on drums. He's related to Miles. Yeah, so this is another, like I said, like these wouldn't be his best albums, but you got to take the 80s stuff in context of what it is, and you know, there's a lot worse music out there. And we wind up with Youre. This was recorded in Copenhagen in January 1985. It's probably one of the strangest albums. It's in collaboration with a Danish trumpeter called Paul Mikkelberg. He was a big fan of Miles, and it's a kind of a suite. Each track has got different colours. Like there's the intro, then white, yellow, orange, red, green, blue, electric red, indigo, violet. This one was remastered by Columbia and released in 2000, but it was actually released in 1989. Columbia wouldn't release it back in 1985. But yeah, it's a strange beast. John McLaughlin played guitar on it. I'd say it would be kind of close to the Gil Evans stuff. Maybe kind of a more contemporary version of it. Yeah, it's quite dark and deep, and yeah, certainly worth a listen. But it's a strange one. Yeah, so that's it. That's the story of Miles and Columbia from 1981 to 1985. Thanks for watching. Feel free to subscribe and take care.